Keir Starmer has just lost it, and the whole country is watching. In a shocking royal twist that no one saw coming, King Charles has done the unthinkable. He's elevated Nigel Farage to a level of political influence that has rocked Westminster to its core. This isn't just a symbolic nod, it's a public move loaded with power, meaning and consequences. Starmer didn't just get sidelined, he was humiliated. Behind closed doors, insiders say, Starmer erupted into a full-blown meltdown, blindsided by the King's quiet but thunderous endorsement of the one man who's been tearing down Labour's crumbling walls, Nigel Farage. The monarchy has made its move, and the political fallout is just beginning. The political landscape in Britain just cracked open. For weeks, the establishment had tried to keep it quiet. But now it's confirmed. King Charles has officially consulted with Nigel Farage ahead of his major Commonwealth visit, a move that was immediately interpreted as a symbolic endorsement of Farage's rising influence. Sources close to the palace reveal that the King specifically requested Farage's input on issues of national sovereignty, identity, and Britain's role on the world stage. This isn't routine. This isn't normal. This is a deliberate signal, sent from the highest symbolic authority in the country, that Farage is not just relevant, but central to the new political order that's forming in the ashes of Labour's failure. Inside Labour headquarters, the reaction was pure chaos. Keir Starmer, already under pressure from collapsing poll numbers and widespread criticism over his bland, indecisive leadership, reportedly exploded when the news reached him. Insiders describe a scene of panic and shouting, with advisers scrambling to spin the story before it caught fire. But it was too late. The headlines were everywhere. GB News, The Telegraph, even foreign outlets picked it up. King Charles meets Farage, nation stunned. And just like that, the narrative shifted. Farage went from outsider to insider, from political rebel to royal consultant. Starmer, meanwhile, looked like the man who had just lost the crown he never wore. Make no mistake, this was not a casual invitation. It was a royal validation of everything Farage represents: independence, sovereignty, British pride, and a deep scepticism of the globalist agenda that has hollowed out working-class communities for decades. For years, the elites mocked him. They called him a clown, a disruptor, a populist with no staying power. But now, with the monarchy subtly leaning in his direction, Farage is no longer the fringe voice shouting from the sidelines. He's the man the Crown is listening to, and the country is taking notice. This comes at the worst possible time for Labour. Recent polls show Reform UK surging to 32%, a full 10 points ahead of Labour, who now trail at 22%. This is not a fluke. This is not a bump. This is a tectonic shift in public sentiment. The same voters who once believed in Labour's promises under Jeremy Corbyn have turned their backs on Starmer's hollow centrism and weak-willed compromises. People are tired, they're angry, and they're done being ignored by career politicians who've never felt the sting of rising grocery bills or watched their communities decay under unchecked migration and failing public services. And here's the killer detail: the monarchy knows it. King Charles, often dismissed as a ceremonial figure with no real political power, has shown he understands soft power better than any sitting MP. He doesn't need to give a speech. He doesn't need to make a law. All he has to do is show up, shake the right hand, and the country gets the message. His decision to publicly engage with Farage is a masterstroke in subtle messaging. It tells the public, this man matters, his voice matters, and maybe, just maybe, he's right. Keir Starmer, however, can't handle it. This is not the future he imagined. He thought he could coast to victory on Tory fatigue and platitudes about fairness and stability. But politics has changed. The ground beneath his feet is crumbling, and he's being outflanked not by radicals, but by voices who speak to the heart of Britain's pain. Farage talks about things that matter to real people: control, security, culture, pride. Starmer delivers soundbites approved by consultants and party insiders. And now, with the King's unexpected move, even the illusion of control is gone. The contrast is brutal. Farage walks into a royal briefing with the weight of public opinion behind him. Starmer paces his office, surrounded by spin doctors who no longer have a script that works. This is more than just a shift in influence. It's the start of a transformation in British politics. A transformation where Reform UK isn't just a protest vote, but a serious contender. And where Nigel Farage, once dismissed by the establishment, now walks with the quiet backing of the Crown. The age of Labour's dominance is fading, and what replaces it may be something no one in Westminster is ready for. As the dust from the King's unexpected outreach to Nigel Farage continues to settle, The consequences for Keir Starmer and the Labour Party are growing more catastrophic by the hour. What began as a symbolic royal gesture has snowballed into a full-scale political reckoning, one that has exposed the deep cracks within Labour and accelerated a national shift that no pollster or pundit can ignore. Reform UK, once dismissed as a fringe experiment, has now solidified its place as the beating heart of a movement. And Labour? It's teetering on the brink of irrelevance, led by a man who looks more like a caretaker of decline than a leader of resurgence. The aftermath of King Charles's move has left Labour in panic mode. Their internal briefings, once filled with optimism and controlled narratives, have devolved into firefighting sessions. Starmer's advisers are scrambling to address the growing perception that the party has lost touch with ordinary people. The monarchy's symbolic backing of Farage has pierced the veil of Labour's manufactured stability, revealing a truth many already suspected. Keir Starmer's Labour doesn't stand for anything anymore. It's a party that once championed workers' rights and community values, but now dances awkwardly between centrist technocracy and identity politics, alienating both its traditional base and potential new voters. Polling data has confirmed the devastation. Not only has Reform UK taken a commanding lead with 32%, but Labour's collapse to 22% is more than just a drop in support. It's a rejection. This isn't just about Farage being popular, it's about Starmer being profoundly unpopular. The public isn't merely shifting, they're defecting. They're abandoning a party they no longer recognise and throwing their support behind someone they believe will fight for them, even if he doesn't have the polish or pedigree of a career politician. Farage's rise isn't an accident. It's the direct result of Labour's failures, contradictions and betrayal of its core principles. And as Reform UK surges forward, Labour is being pulled apart from within. Internal tensions are boiling over. Long-time MPs are grumbling in private, staffers are leaking frustrations to the press, and local councillors are resigning in protest. Starmer's grip on the party is weakening. Some factions are calling for a return to Corbyn-style populism, while others want to double down on safe centrist messaging. The result is paralysis. While Farage offers clear, bold stances on immigration, the economy and sovereignty, Labour waffles, hedges and apologises. It's a party terrified of offending anyone, and in trying to please everyone, it pleases no one. The King's subtle move has also triggered an identity crisis within Labour. For years, they've relied on the assumption that the monarchy remains neutral and above politics. But Charles's quiet engagement with Farage has shattered that illusion. Whether it was meant as a full-throated endorsement or simply a calculated act of diplomacy, the result is the same. The perception of royal legitimacy has shifted. Farage, long treated as an outsider, now appears to carry the quiet confidence of someone who has the monarch's ear. That perception, regardless of constitutional reality, is politically explosive. In the media, the shift is equally evident. Farage is no longer being caricatured as a pub politics populist. Outlets once hostile to him are softening their tone. Headlines have gone from mocking to respectful. Interviews are less combative, more inquisitive. He's being treated as a statesman. And that perception is powerful, because in British politics, perception is often more important than policy. While Labour tries to manage optics through staged town halls and heavily rehearsed media appearances, Farage gains authenticity by simply being himself, flawed, bold, and unapologetically patriotic. That's what voters are craving, someone who speaks plainly, stands firmly, and doesn't twist himself into knots trying to be politically correct. Meanwhile, Keir Starmer is fading from relevance. His television appearances, once opportunities to project competence, now often descend into defensive rants and awkward silences. The more he speaks, the more disillusioned the public becomes. It's clear he's struggling not just to inspire the nation, but to even define what he believes. His cautious, lawyerly approach, once seen as a safe alternative to Boris Johnson's chaos, now comes across as timid and disconnected in a time of national urgency. Britain is crying out for leadership, and Starmer is offering paperwork. Nowhere. Was this weakness more apparent than in the recent media appearances by Labour surrogates? One particularly disastrous moment came during a GB News interview, where Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp was left stammering and visibly angry after being challenged on Labour's failure to control immigration and rising taxation. Instead of offering a compelling defence, he attacked the journalist, lost his temper, and unintentionally admitted that Reform UK had successfully captured the public's attention. It was a meltdown that perfectly encapsulated Labour's current crisis. No message, no plan, just panic. The irony is cruel. Labour, The party that once claimed to be the voice of the common people is now seen as a bureaucratic elite echo chamber, out of touch, out of ideas, and increasingly out of time. Reform UK, on the other hand, is seizing the mantle Labour abandoned. They're not just winning votes, they're winning the narrative. They've framed themselves as the party of national pride, economic survival, and cultural integrity. In doing so, they've created a movement that resonates deeply across class, age, and regional lines. And now, with even the monarchy offering a subtle nod of approval, that movement has gained a sense of legitimacy and momentum that no establishment party can match. Keir Starmer may still be the leader of the opposition on paper, but the real opposition, both to Labour and the wider establishment, now comes from Reform UK. And the longer Starmer flounders, the more voters will look to Farage not just as a protest candidate, but as a Prime Minister in waiting. The idea that once seemed laughable is now becoming plausible. And in politics, perception often becomes reality. The fall of Labour is not just a political event, it's a cultural one. A once mighty party is collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions, just as a new movement rises with clarity, confidence, and now a royal seal of influence. Britain is changing, and those who can't adapt, like Keir Starmer, will be left behind.